Hi guys, it's Erik-Weisz with another video about the Fichet F3D. There is already a video about the indoor cylinder. You can find a link in the description. This time I will pick and gut the outdoor part, and basically everything I said about the indoor cylinder also applies to this one. However, there are some important differences. With regard to picking, there are 6 active tumblers, while in the indoor cylinder there are only 5 active tumblers. In addition, there is a key control at the back of the keyway that is part of the tailpiece and needs to be pushed individually by the tip of the key. Otherwise, the tailpiece cannot be compressed and the lock cannot be opened. I will show you that later. Also, there is a shutter in the front piece that makes insertion of the picking tip a bit more difficult, but otherwise does not affect picking. More information about the 2 phases of the picking process can also be found in the other video about the indoor cylinder. Gutting of the outdoor cylinder is also a bit more challenging because it has stronger protection against physical attacks. So this time the cylinder must not only be separated from the centerpiece, but also the 2 parts of the housing must be separated from each other. And this will leave you with the core in this brass tube. And you will find that it can only be taken out after removing 2 retaining pins at the back that are accessible through these little holes. At the moment there are only partially visible, but once the cylinder is separated from the middle piece, they become visible completely, and they can either be grinded out or the heads can be grinded off, or these holes can be enlarged and you can try to peel them out, but this didn't work for me. As you will see later, I did some modifications that make gutting easier without affecting the actual function of the lock, and this was also extremely helpful when I learned to pick it. But now, without further ado, let's put this thing in a vise and see if we can get it picked. Okay, the Fichet F3D is now in the vise with the outside cylinder facing the camera. And for picking, I will again use this self-made tool. Insertion is a bit more difficult because of these shutters, but at an angle it should work. And this time I have to push this key control pin at the back first. There it is, a little click and a little core movement to the back. And now again the 2 phases. In the first phase the front gear wheels, and I will going through the tumblers from back to front and look for the binder. 6 is loose, 5 is loose, 4 is also loose, 3 is not binding, 2 is slightly binding, maybe this is a good position for the back now. 3 still not binding. But I'm looking for least binding position, and 2 again, and 1 maybe. One is tightly binding. And there's a little core movement. 2 again, it's tightly binding now. 3 also. 4. 5 maybe. also binding. And 6, not so much, but 5. 5 is now loose. 6 is still not binding. So 4 maybe. Now 6 was binding and we got core movement, which means that we're probably in phase 2 now. 6 is loose, 5 is loose, 4 is loose, 3 is binding, 2 is loose, and 1. Let's check them again. Let's check the key control pin. Still pushed. 6 is loose, 5 is loose, 4 is loose, 3 is binding a bit, 2 is binding, and then another core movement, and no, not really. And again from the back, 6, 5, 4 now. Maybe I've rotated the cam. No, but still, the cam is already engaged, and so we are close to the open, I think. Ah, and there we go. It's open. It was the last one, actually. So let's close it up again and remove the tool. Maybe with the help of the pick. There we go. Gutting of the outside cylinder is even more difficult than the indoor part, but I've made some preparations so that it should no longer be a problem with this one. To separate the cylinder from the middle piece, I can simply remove those grub screws with the correct screwdriver. Oops. So again, we have the remaining parts, and this is actually the piece that prevents the core from rotating when it is not picked or not opened. But now this no longer works because it's no longer in the housing. So I lost one grub screw. Yeah, now we have to remove this front cap, which is normally fits very tight to the brass cylinder here, but I sanded it down a bit so that it should be removable quite easily, like this. Here we go. And now, yeah, there are again these two key retaining parts. And also put them aside, and now the actual core is still tight in the brass tube, which is because of these two retaining pins. Normally they also sit quite tight, but I have replaced them so that they can be taken out easily. It's simple pins, and they have several functions that I will explain later. And now I can slide the actual locking mechanism out, and yeah, it's basically built up the same way as the indoor cylinder. And for further cutting, I will again insert the key and put it in the open position. And again, these two parts of the inner housing are normally riveted together, but I have removed the rivet so that we can again take this easily apart. Hopefully not as easy as expected, but with the help of a pick it should work. There we go. And let's okay, let's put that aside again. And again, we have the locking mechanism. We can also remove the back part and also put it aside. Yeah, and again, we have the tumblers and the gear wheels and the front and tail piece. And we will examine the tail piece later on. But let's arrange the parts a bit. We can again start with the tumblers and the gear wheels, taking them off one by one. Sorry for shaking, I don't know why. Maybe I'm a bit nervous. So, as I said, there are six active tumblers with gear wheels in the outdoor cylinder, in contrast to only 5 in the indoor. Don't know why this is, but that's the way it is. And there we go. And this is the front piece. Basically it looks like the one in the outdoor cylinder. It only has these shutters. They are held back by this springing ring. And also the two holes for the key retaining parts. Let's put that here. And those key retaining parts beside it. And this is the tail piece, and there's a difference in that one to the tail piece of the indoor cylinder. It has this key control feature here. The moment it is compressed or is decompressed, oops, it comes out, sorry for that, here it is. And it's spring loaded. Here's the spring. and if it's not pushed, then this tailpiece cannot be compressed. And this tailpiece also consists of two parts, and that's one of the functions of these retaining pins also. Normally they sit here and on the other side here, and then they prevent the tail piece from being taken apart, among others. So, but I will let them in, and I will also insert this key control piece again to show you how this works. Is that right? Okay. So now it's inserted but not pressed. And as long as this is the case, then it cannot be compressed. But as soon as the key pushes this in, the tailpiece can be compressed and the lock can be opened. So this is an additional security feature that has only the outdoor cylinder. The remaining parts are almost the same as in the indoor cylinder. We have this bar that connects the front piece and the tail piece, and that holds back these gear racks. And we have the gear racks 2x6. Oops, I should do that here. Yeah, that's nothing new. I think that's what we already saw in the indoor cylinder. And the same on the other side. Come on. And here we go. Oh, maybe I can add this one, which is actually not part of the core, but connects the core to the middle piece. Yeah, okay, that's the Fichet 3D outside cylinder picked and gutted. As I said, really cool lock with many challenges, but also very rewarding once you have successfully picked it. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Bye bye.